Yeah. So today I'm going to demonstrate about, there is the concept is called as a API testing. Right. Right. See, firstly, we must know what is the full form of API. No, the full form of API is that application programming interface is called, the full form of API. See, why API testing is required, here when the quality analyst is not able to see the source code behind a web application, then we conduct API testing. Hence, 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 two programs communicate each other with the help of HTTP as the protocol. Yeah, yeah. Right. So we know already, about HTTP protocol, right? So generally, what is the full form of HTTP protocol?
Hypertext transfer protocol.
Absolutely. See, whenever two web applications to be communicate each other, compulsorily we must have a hypertext transfer protocol is required. So here, why we need a API testing? Till now, we have conducted a functional testing because for every web application, we are able to see the source code behind it. But when the quality analyst is not able to see the source code behind it, obviously you cannot be able to see the web locators to detect a particular object in a web application. Therefore, we supposed to be perform API testing. So to conduct the API testing, we require the backbone as a HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocol is having is having is having below our methods, built-in methods. Yeah. So what are they? The protocols are get method, HTTP get method. Second one is post method. Third one is put method. Fourth method is that, patch method. Fifth method is delete method. These are the 5 HTTP methods are going to be applied in order to perform the API testing. These are very important methods. Either REST API or API testing will be conducted with the help of these particular 5 methods. Clear? So let us see, how exactly, get method is going to work to perform the getting the data from other application, how we will be post the data, we'll create a data in a API endpoint. All these I'm going to be show to you what exactly get method will do, post method will do, put method will do, patch method will do, delete method will do. Clear? So yeah, let's go to right. So here, let me talk another important note. So in Python, to conduct API testing, we require there is a package called request. This is the package. So whenever if it is a package, obviously we have to install on top of the, uh, PyCharm. So what I am going to do here, let us, let's, go to settings. Let's go to settings, click onto this and search for the request. Are you seeing? There is a built-in package called as a request, which is a Python HTTP for humans. Two applications to be communicate each other. Certainly we require there is a request is the, a particular package to be installed. So I'm installing it. Installing it. Yeah, installed successfully. Okay. Yeah, right. Right. So firstly, we'll go with the hands-on knowledge. Within the API testing, I would like to, go with the one particular file, which is HTTP get method. So what is the purpose of the HTTP get method? Let me demonstrate to you. Clear? So as I said, there will be a particular package need to be import, that is, request. Yeah, right. So another package is required to be import, that, JSON. So obviously, if you wanted to perform the testing using Pytest, you can able to text Pytest. See, Pytest is the common framework. We can conduct API testing, data-driven testing, Selenium testing, functional testing, UI testing, parameterization testing. All this testing can be conducted with the help of Pytest as a framework only. Now, I'm demonstrating to you that, use of use of get method, use of HTTP get method to get the data from other endpoint as program, as a program. See, in order to conduct the two applications, we required one particular application, right? So if you go to online, there will be an application called as reqres.in. reqres.in. This is the open platform where you can find the common gateways, common API endpoints. I'm demonstrating now get method. Let's suppose this is reqres.in is an application. From the PyCharm, I'm trying to extract the data. Here in this endpoint, there is a get method I'm demonstrating to you. There will be list of users are available. If you click on it, if you click on this request, you will be find some data. You see, the data is available in the form of a dictionary format. The data is available in the form of a JSON format, which is, a JavaScript object notation format. This is another application through the PyCharm API request, I wanted to get some data from this particular application. So for that reason, what we supposed to do, you copy this particular URL. Okay. Now, if your application is able to get the data successfully, you are going to get, there is a response status code will be 200. If you get a response code as a 200, which means your API endpoint application is working fine. It is responding properly. We are able to get the data properly. Yes or no? Let's go to program now. Here, what I'm going to do here, I'm writing, there is a class concept. So whenever you use the class concept, you have to write a test underscore API get. Okay. Now what I'm doing here, I'm writing the definition. What is the definition? Test underscore, isn't it? Obviously, get method, test underscore get method. Isn't it? So what I'm doing here, so here I'm trying to test whether the API endpoint other application is working or not, and am I able to get the data or not. That's I'm going to be performing the operation now. In order to check with, there is a request is the a module in which there is a method is called get method. I hope you are seeing here. Get URL parameters are going to be provided for the API request. Get method. Within the get method, we are going to pass the request, like you are going to pass the to which API endpoint you wanted to get the data. This is the URL I'm going to give. HTTPS REUQ res.in API users and paste. If the successfully HTTP GET request is working such a way that this particular URL has set of data about the set of people that we supposed to be get. How do you get here? Obviously, first you check the response code, isn't it? So, in order to print the response code, print res dot, isn't it? So status code. You print the status code, you will get to know that whether you are able to get the data or not. You are able to get the data or not, isn't it? So obviously, firstly, let me execute. As you are using Pytest, you just try to be execute this particular program with the help of a terminal. With the help of a terminal. So what is the command, like Pytest space -s -v space where I'm creating API testing, within which HTTPS, this method I wanted to execute. Now if you look at the result has been given and test case have been passed. So better do one thing, asset, make it as true. Yeah, test case is passed. So what is the status code? It has been displayed. If you look at, there is a status code is 200. So in interviews, people used to ask, so how do you confirm that the API endpoint is working fine or not? So whenever you are conducting a API testing, if you apply the HTTP GET request method, if that corresponding API endpoint is working fine, then it is going to return as a response, which is called as a 200. 200 is, it is a status code, which is the a message, which means that, API endpoint is working fine, isn't it? So working fine is okay. Can we see the data behind the corresponding page? Yes, we can see that, before that, you do one thing. Here, response.json. You're just trying to print, data. Data is equal to response.json, that you print. Yeah, great. So let me execute again. If you look at here, whatever the data behind the page, whatever you have seen, the complete data is able to visible. Are you seeing? I hope you are seeing the data. So here I have shown to you in the internet, So here I have shown you that the data behind this particular page. Now you click on it. You see, this is the data. We are able to get it. We are able to see in the, we are able to see in the PyCharm also, this data, which will be, there are two pages. Per page, there will be 6 entries. Total 12 entries are there. Total pages are 2. There is a data is the array name, in which there will be 0th index will be this, first index is this, second index is this, like that. The data has been organized in the form of a tree. If you want to see this data in the form of a tree, you copy this entire the data, copy, you go to internet, JSON Weaver. You see, there is a JSON Weaver is a software. You click on it, you paste the entire the data here, you paste the entire the data here, you see the Weaver now. Are you seeing, guys? The data will be shown in the form of a JSON. There is a JSON data, isn't it? So there will be 2 pages. Per page, 6 entries are there. Total 12 entries are there. Now drop down the data. Data is the list. It is array. Where within the data there is a 0th index, where there is a candidate ID is 7, and email ID is michael.lawson@reks.in. His name is, first name is Michael, last name is Lawson, and his image is the avatar image. Comes to the second person, details will be like this. Second person is like this. Third person is like that, because array will be start from 0, right? Therefore, we are able to see that. The data can be seen in the form of dictionary. The data can be seen in the form of a JSON too. It is in the form of a hierarchy. It will be shown to you. Is that clear or not? So this data is able to shown you. Here I have shown you. If you want to print the data, this data is completely shown in a specific dictionary format, which is not so meaningful. If you want to see the same data meaningfully in a hierarchical manner, go to internet and trying to see that particular data in the form of a JSON format. Now my question is, rather than displaying this data, I'm going to perform the assertion. What is an assertion I'm going to do? The assertion is that that so whatever the status code response dot, like assert assert, rather than writing an assert as a true, you write the condition here. Assert res dot status code is equal to 200, which means whatever the data, whatever the retrieving code, and whatever the code you are comparing is that equal, then the true this testing is going to pass. Otherwise, otherwise API endpoint is not responding. This is the result I wanted to conduct. Now, rather than printing the data, you check once. Let me execute. Test case is passed because the endpoint, whatever the 200 will be sent, and I'm comparing with that will be seen. Let me take 201. Now what happens, you see? Failed. The API endpoint returned as a 200 as an status code, but you are comparing with the 201. Both the codes are not equal. Therefore, API endpoint is not responding, error will be thrown to you. Is that clear? So now let's go ahead. Now, another method I'm going to write. What is the another method I'm going to write? First test case I have written, right? Now I'm going to write a second test case. Definition. The test underscore method 2. Method 2. Right? So obviously in method 2, we need required, this particular data, whatever the, this line is required, mandatory. This line is mandatory. Copy, because we need to connect. Okay. After writing this, result data we need to store. Data is equal to response dot res dot JSON. The data is going to be stored into data. What I'm going to do here now, I'm writing I'm just in this URL. What is that? Just hold on, please. In this, there is a zeroth index. There is a data. There is a data. Within the data, there is a zeroth index. There will be last name is called as a Lawson. This the name which was there in API endpoint. I'm comparing equal or not. I wanted to check this particular comparison. How it is going to be written? You see now. So here data one you write, or else you can take D. D is equal to data. See what I'm doing here. Asset, asset, or else you can keep data only. That's not a problem. Data, asset, data of, data of or else you can take it as a T because there is already built-in name is there data. The day is going to consist here, you just write, just here. Here, D holding data from the JSON. What I'm checking here, D of within the D, there will be a data. What is the data here? Here, this is the data. This data. This data. Clear? So within the data, zeroth index, within which I am comparing the last name. Okay. So now how the index is going to be written? How the index is going to be written? Data, zeroth index, zeroth index. There will be last name. Last name is equal to Lawson. Is that true? Lawson. Which means the data which is there inside the API endpoint Lawson, I expected as a Lawson, is that same or not? I wanted to compare. If it is same, the condition gets passed. Otherwise, it is going to be failed. Now what I'm doing here, obviously, comma, names are mismatch. See, sometime, the name might be failed. Let us see now. Expected and actual will be same or not. Now I'm comparing two test cases. There are two test cases we have. So first method failed. Second method is also failed. You know why it is failed? Can you check? D of data, zeroth of last name. No, 1 second. Yeah, if you look at here, it's not a last. Yeah, last underscore name. There is a case sensitivity. But I have given it as a last name. Here you're supposed to give last underscore name. And above also you give the valid input so that both cases are going to be passed. Let me execute. Names are mismatch. What is that?
No, actually, the Lawson L is capital, sir.
Oh, that's great. Okay. That's what case sensitivity is important because otherwise it will be not going to match. Yes. LAWSEON. Yes, correct. Exactly. So let us execute. So both test cases passed now. There are two test cases we are comparing, both test cases are passed. Now you can write another test case also. Now what is another test case I would like to write? I would like to write a test case for comparing uh, second index email, second index email, which means what? I'm asking you to write a code. Second index means what here? It's a zeroth index, it's a first index, it is a second index. A law, what is this? To bias dot funky at the rate ruqs dot in is equal or not, I wanted to compare. Now we better to copy. Uh, no, it's not going to be. No. Top, like or else you can top bias dot funky at the rate reqs dot. Okay. Now how you write a code here? Just you have to understand. This particular code is common. Here I'm going to write a code definition test underscore method 3, right? And here I'm writing, the same code where assert, please can you tell me d of data? Here the index
Two.
is 2, 2, and where I'm
Email.
comparing email. So email is a capital or small, you just check it out once. Email is small. Okay. So now what is the email now? So
Two
is equal
bias.
to 2bias dot
Two.
funke
E. E.
ke at the rate reqres dot
Yes.
in. This is the email ID. If expected email ID and existing email ID in the API endpoint is true, then obviously it is going to be successfully assert is true. Be otherwise, emails are mismatched. This is an error is going to be thrown to you. Let's see now. Let me execute again. What is the CLS? Yeah. Now I hope you guys are seeing that. There are three methods. Three methods are passed. Method 2 passed. I think method 3 not involved in this. So 2 passed. No, hold on, please. Test underscore method 2, method 3. Yeah, the get. Okay. You just do one thing. Here you keep it as a D1 here. Because I'm thinking that there is any kind of a variable related issues. Mm, okay. First method is passed. Method 2 is passed. Third method is not involving in it. M3. Yeah. Okay. So M3 have been failed. Let me give
Two bias. Yes.
yes. No, intentionally I have failed actually. No, why it is not executing करके. Yeah, three methods are passed. Three methods are passed. So now any number of methods can be written within the API testing. Now for different reasons, different methods, right? So here we have learned here only why we are using a get method. In API HTTP methods, we have used only there is a method called as a get method. Why you use the get method? Get method is to get the data from the other API endpoint, whatever the data it has. Why we are testing here? Because we cannot see the a code behind this particular application. What physical data is available, we cannot see in real-time scenario. But now this is a free endpoint, free API, therefore we are able to see the data. In real-time scenario, let me ask you one thing. Can you see how many customers are existing behind a Flipkart? We cannot see. But if you wanted to test a API endpoint, if the Flipkart will allow you to be tested, we can see the data. Yes or no? This is how the API endpoint, API testing is going to be required here actually. Yes or no? So now a get method is used to get the data from the, you know, from the API. Yes or no? So in a similar fashion, now we'll go with a put method. Put method is what exactly do? See here, let me write a theory now. Get method, get method, this method is used to acquire the data, acquire or extract data from the API endpoint application. Yes or no? But whereas post method used to to create data on top of the relevant database. What is the database here? JSON will be the database. JSON is the data structure. So on top of it, we can able to post and we can create a new data. Get method is to get the data whatever existing. Post method is to create a new data on top of the JSON file. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. You see this now. There is a method is called as a post method. Are you seeing? Are you seeing here? There is a method is called as a post method. Post method is used in order to create a record, create a document freshly as per your wish. If we create a record successfully, there is a response code you are going to get as 201 will be the response code. And here after creating a new data, here there is a message is going to be shown to you is that created at the time, year and timestamp is going to be shown to you. Clear? So let me take this particular URL. Here I'm going to take an URL. Here I'm going to take a URL. Copy this link. Let's go to create another program. Create another program. What is that? HTTP post